I'm telling you, this border fence is the perfect example of how politics works. Let me reset it for you real quick, and then I'm going to give you more awesome details. It's supposed to be 700 miles. You know, the Republicans pass it. We've got to stop this illegal immigration. We've got to get a border fence there so they can't get over the wall, right? It's supposed to be 700 miles. And then in August 10th, 2007, Chertoff, head of Department of Homeland Security, says, yeah, we're going to go ahead and make it 370 miles instead. And it's not just shorter. It's the same amount of distance, but it's got holes all over the fence. And what are the holes? One of them is Ray Hunt's property. We explained that already. It's a wealthy oil man. He used to be on the board of Halliburton. And his property, there's a wall on one side and a wall on the other side, or there's going to be, okay? But his property is clean and free. Turns out he's made a deal with a Mexican company, and now they have a corporation called Hunt Mexico, where he's going to have a whole trade area on his property, thereby increasing the value of his property. Funny how that happens. Huge contributor to the Bush-Cheney campaign. Now, what are some of the other holes in the wall? Well, there's the Riverbend Resort. That's a nice golf course. Ah, come on. You don't want to ruin the golf course by putting a fence in the middle of it. So there's no fence there at all. What's the explanation? Why can't they just cross over the golf course? They're like, yeah, well, we'll put guards by the entrance of the golf course. Oh, okay, I see. So that'll do it. Of course they're not putting the fence in the middle of the golf course because it'll ruin the value of the golf course, and the guy who has the golf course is a lot more connected and is a lot richer than this poor schlut neighbor who's going to have a fence go through right in the middle of his property, through his backyard. You're poor? Sad day for you. I got a fence in your land for you. You got a golf course? Ah, we won't put the fence there. What's the chances they try to cross in a golf course? Okay. Now, who's building the fence? One of the companies is out in Long Island that's providing security for the fence, video cameras, etc. Well, now, Long Island, that's interesting. I wonder why that is, right? You thought maybe local companies, Texas, Arizona, California, etc. Well, it turns out the guy who authored the Secure Fences Act is Peter King, Republican congressman from New York. One of his biggest contributors, the people who won the contract to get the security for the fence in Long Island. Shocking. Now, we go to the next part of it, SBI Net. They're the people that are going to build the majority of the fence. They're a consortium of private contractors led by Boeing. Boeing. I wonder if Boeing's connected at all in politics and if that would make a difference. Well, when we look into it, we find out, of course, that the board members of Boeing are William Daley, former U.S. Secretary of Commerce, retired General James Jones, former Supreme Allied Commander in Europe, Ken Duberstein, former White House Chief of Staff, and Boeing is one of the largest political contributors in the country. They put in $9 million to Democratic and Republican members of Congress in the last decade. Now, it turns out in February of 2007, SBI Net was cited by the government for poor fiscal oversight and a lack of demonstrable objectives. So you think, oh, well, okay, well, they're not doing the job right, so they're going to be punished for that, right? Of course not. Instead, the Department of Homeland Security puts 98 folks in charge of supervising SBI Net, but they outsource that contract to other private contractors who are also either doing business with or in some way have business alliances with Boeing. So they're overseeing themselves, basically. Now, how does Boeing get such a sweet deal? Not only do they put in $9 million to Republicans and Democrats across the country, but the person who got the most amount of contributions is Duncan Hunter. Remember Duncan Hunter? He's the guy who wants to build the wall the most. And in fact, he calls it the Hunter Fence, right? Well, the Hunter Fence is being built by people who gave Duncan Hunter $10,000 for his campaign, and Boeing did, and then $93,000 from other defense companies bidding for the SBI Net contract. So overall, $103,000 goes to Duncan Hunter, and he helps build the wall with the companies that are giving him the money, except they don't build it in the places that other people are giving them money not to build it in. So in the end, the wall will have absolutely no effect But it will make the companies that gave money to Duncan Hunter and Peter King and George Bush and Dick Cheney a lot of money. Welcome to American Politics.